That's what we want to see. And make no mistake, Alex, we talked about this yesterday. You said there's 2 first-round picks that they have next year, right?
Yep.
So this is about, let's see what we have. Are one of these guys going to be our quarterback moving forward?
Right.
And to me, look, I was saying something about Shedeur Sanders. Mm-hmm. And to me, I just know this kid has so much ability.
Rex Ryan has never been afraid to speak his mind, but this time, it might have cost him everything. Just a week ago, the outspoken former NFL coach turned analyst took a public shot at rising quarterback Shedeur Sanders, claiming the young player wasn't ready and didn't deserve a spot near the top of Cleveland's roster. It sounded like classic Rex, bold, unfiltered, and a little too confident. But what happened next turned into one of the biggest backlashes he's faced in years. Within hours, social media exploded. Fans, players, and even fellow NFL legends came after him, accusing Ryan of crossing the line. Cam Newton called it out as another example of how young black quarterbacks are unfairly targeted, while Michael Irvin went straight for Ryan's credibility, saying if Rex had truly believed in development, he'd be the first one fighting for Shedeur. Not against him. What started as just another TV hot take suddenly turned into a league-wide storm.
Shedeur Sanders. And when are we going to start realizing that you cannot control people? Some of the same things that people ridicule Shedeur Sanders is also the same things that makes people like Jackson Dart. It's in the eye of the beholder when you're regarding
one that didn't just threaten Ryan's image, but also caught the attention of the NFL itself. Then, almost overnight, everything changed. The same man who said Shedeur Sanders wasn't ready was suddenly praising his immense talent and future potential. The same analyst who doubted him was now demanding the Browns give him a shot. Why the sudden change of heart? Was it genuine reflection or pure damage control after pressure from the league and the fans? Because one thing's for sure, in the NFL, words travel fast. And when those words come from a man like Rex Ryan, they can build careers or destroy them. Today, we're diving deep into the truth behind Rex Ryan's sudden reversal on Shedeur Sanders and what might really be going on behind that polished apology. It started like any other fiery segment on sports television. Rex Ryan sitting across from his co-hosts, arms folded, eyes narrowed, voice dripping with certainty. He didn't hesitate.
We will make sure that if there were violations, that they won't be tolerated. But when we know what those facts are and the impact it has on our game, we'll deal with it very seriously.
Shedeur Sanders isn't ready, he declared, dismissing the young quarterback with the kind of authority only a former head coach could project. He compared Sanders unfavorably to veterans, questioning his composure, leadership, and even suggesting that his confidence bordered on arrogance. To millions of viewers, it sounded like another strong take from a man who'd built his career on controversy. But this time, it struck a different nerve. Within hours, clips of Ryan's remarks flooded social media. Fans clipped, shared, and dissected every word. Many weren't angry just because he criticized Sanders. Analysts critique players every day, but because of the tone. It wasn't constructive. It felt personal. Shedeur, the son of Deion Sanders, had already faced endless scrutiny, and Ryan's comments felt like another attempt to tear him down before he'd even had the chance to prove himself. The response was immediate. Hashtags calling out Ryan's old-school bias began trending.
Yeah, all of our players, and I include Shedeur in this, are working extremely hard. We just finished our period after practice that we do every single day. Just finished a red zone 7-on-7 period where Shedeur and the rest of the younger guys are working on 10 reps. So he needs to continue to do exactly what he's been doing and continue to do what all these guys are doing, which is just keep working.
Former players posted their own defenses of Sanders, pointing out that every great quarterback, from Mahomes to Hurts, once faced the same doubts. Fans noted that Ryan seemed to ignore Sanders' standout performances in practice reports and college stats. It wasn't just an opinion anymore. It had become a flashpoint in a larger conversation about respect, opportunity, and how young players are perceived in the league. By the end of the day, Ryan's name was everywhere, but not in the way he intended. Sports shows replayed the segment on loop, fan podcasts tore into him, and analysts questioned whether he'd gone too far. What began as a routine take had suddenly turned into a reputation-shaking moment. And for Rex Ryan, the backlash was only beginning. Because soon, powerful voices, from Cam Newton to Michael Irvin, would step in and make this story impossible to ignore. The moment Rex Ryan's comments hit the air, the internet caught fire.
Joe Flacco, can't get it done anymore. So bring Shedeur Sanders up with the young kid, the lefty, and now your first and second team. I was saying something about Shedeur Sanders. And to me, I just know this kid has so much ability that I want to see him out there like anybody else.
Yeah.
And why the hell he's not out there, it
makes no sense.
Clips of his segment were shared across X, TikTok, and YouTube within minutes, and the reaction was fierce. NFL fans didn't just disagree. They were offended. To many, it wasn't about Shedeur Sanders' ability. It was about what Ryan's words represented. Another veteran analyst dismissing a young, confident black quarterback before he'd even been given a real chance. Cam Newton was one of the first to step in. Never one to bite his tongue, he posted a fiery response online. Calling out the hypocrisy. "Y'all say you want confidence in your quarterbacks," he said. But the second a young black QB shows it, he's cocky, he's not ready. His words struck a chord. Within hours, thousands echoed his sentiment that Shedeur was being held to a different standard simply because of who he was and how he carried himself. Then came Michael Irvin. The Hall of Famer didn't just defend Shedeur, he went straight for Rex Ryan's credibility. "If you doubt his confidence, then maybe you're not confident in what you know," Irvin said on live TV. He reminded viewers that belief and swagger are what separates stars from backups. "You think Mahomes or Brady made it by being humble and quiet?" Irvin continued. "No, they knew they were special. Shedeur does too." By now, the storm was unavoidable. Fans flooded ESPN's comment sections, demanding accountability. Sports pages called Ryan's take tone-deaf, and even a few of his own colleagues subtly distanced themselves from his comments. Ryan's trademark smirk was gone the next time he appeared on camera, replaced by visible discomfort. Behind the scenes, producers and PR teams were scrambling. ESPN's social feeds were overwhelmed with angry comments, and sponsors quietly started asking questions. The controversy had officially grown beyond one man's opinion. It was now a conversation about race, respect, and double standards in professional sports. But the biggest blow was still coming, because as the backlash built, word started spreading that even the NFL itself had taken notice, and that the consequences for Rex Ryan could be far more serious than just bad press. By midweek, what had started as a viral storm online was now echoing through the halls of the NFL itself. According to insiders, executives, coaches, and even a few team owners were quietly fuming over Rex Ryan's remarks about Shedeur Sanders. This wasn't just another analyst running his mouth for ratings. His comments were now seen as damaging to the league's image. The NFL had spent years trying to promote young talent, diversity, and leadership among new generation quarterbacks. And Ryan's words came off as a direct contradiction of that message. Behind closed doors, the calls began. League officials reached out to ESPN, voicing their concerns about tone and professional conduct. It wasn't a formal investigation, but it was serious enough to make producers nervous. One executive reportedly said, "We can't afford another media fire that paints the league as out of touch." Suddenly, Rex Ryan, the man who used to command locker rooms, was now the story everyone in the locker rooms was whispering about. Even NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell was said to be monitoring the situation. According to reports circulating among insiders, Goodell viewed the backlash as a warning sign, a potential PR disaster waiting to explode if not handled properly. For years, Ryan's fiery personality had made great television, but this time it had crossed into dangerous territory. Meanwhile, fans noticed something strange. Rex Ryan began to pull back. The same analyst who just days earlier had dismissed Shedeur Sanders with confidence now avoided the subject entirely on his next few shows. His body language shifted. The usual jokes were replaced by cautious remarks. You could almost see the fear of saying one more wrong word. Behind the scenes, ESPN's top brass were reportedly discussing damage control. There were rumors of pressure from sponsors, calls from agents, and quiet reminders that public opinion now mattered more than ever. The situation was snowballing fast, and for Rex Ryan, it was becoming clear that if he didn't act quickly, this controversy might not just stain his reputation, it could end his career altogether. When the firestorm reached its peak, Rex Ryan finally realized silence wouldn't save him. The backlash had grown too loud, the criticism too widespread. His name was trending for all the wrong reasons, and every sports outlet was running the same headline: Rex Ryan under fire for Shedeur Sanders' comments. For a man who built his reputation on swagger and confidence, the public pressure was a nightmare. Behind the scenes, ESPN executives had made it clear: fix it or face consequences. That's when the sudden change of heart appeared. During his next on-air segment, Ryan's tone was different, softer, more controlled. He looked into the camera and spoke about Shedeur Sanders' raw talent and tremendous potential. Gone were the sharp criticisms and snide remarks. Instead, he called Sanders the kind of player you build a team around. Viewers were stunned. The same man who'd written the kid off was now praising him like a proud mentor. But fans weren't convinced. The shift felt too polished, too rehearsed, like it had been approved by a PR team before the cameras rolled. Comments flooded in. "He's only saying that because of the backlash," one fan wrote. Another added, "Funny how quick people switch when their job's on the line." It wasn't just the public that noticed the change. Players did too. Cam Newton reposted the clip with a subtle caption: "The power of accountability." In sports circles, whispers began that Ryan's reversal wasn't spontaneous. Reports suggested he'd received a quiet warning from network executives. One more slip-up, and his future with ESPN could be in jeopardy. Even some of his colleagues hinted that his new praise for Sanders was an attempt to get back in good standing with the NFL community. And while Ryan may have thought the apology would end things, it only raised more questions. Why was he suddenly defending the same player he'd mocked? Was it genuine reflection or just self-preservation? Whatever the truth, one thing was clear: Rex Ryan's credibility had taken a massive hit, and his reputation as the NFL's outspoken truth-teller was starting to look more like an act than authenticity. While the public saw a calm, collected Rex Ryan attempting to rebuild his image on live television, the real story was unfolding far from the cameras. Sources close to ESPN insiders later revealed that Ryan's change of heart wasn't just a personal revelation. It was the result of mounting pressure from both his network and the NFL's upper circle. This wasn't a natural turnaround. It was strategy. Even the league's communication office had quietly stepped in to coordinate messaging. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell, aware of the growing unrest, reportedly emphasized that public figures within the league must uphold respect and accountability. It wasn't a public reprimand, but it was enough to make Ryan and anyone else watching understand that this was a warning shot. Behind that polished on-air smile, Rex Ryan was in survival mode. Every sentence he spoke about Shedeur Sanders was carefully weighed. Every appearance was measured, because deep down, he knew the truth. One more wrong move, one more offhand remark, and the NFL's tolerance for controversy would finally run out. What the audience saw as a man humbled might have actually been a man cornered, trying desperately to protect what was left of his career. While Rex Ryan scrambled to repair his image, the Cleveland Browns organization took a very different approach. Quiet, firm, and professional, head coach Kevin Stefanski stepped up to address the growing storm surrounding Shedeur Sanders. During a press conference packed with reporters eager for a headline, Stefanski's tone was measured but unmistakably clear. All of our players, and that includes Shedeur, are working extremely hard, he said calmly. We just finished a red zone period today, where he took 10 solid reps. He's doing exactly what we ask of him. It was the perfect response. Not defensive, not emotional, just facts. Stefanski didn't take Ryan's bait, nor did he criticize him. Instead, he did something far more powerful. He defended his player through quiet confidence. That press conference clip spread across social media almost as fast as Ryan's original comments, and fans noticed the difference immediately. Where Ryan had been dismissive, Stefanski was composed. Where Ryan's words had sparked division, Stefanski's created unity. Inside the Browns' locker room, the mood reportedly shifted. Teammates began rallying behind Shedeur Sanders. Many respected how he handled the storm with silence. While commentators and fans debated his readiness, Sanders kept his head down and his focus sharp. Teammates described him as locked in and laser-focused. One insider even said he never complained, never clapped back. He just worked. That attitude won him something more valuable than a headline: respect. Meanwhile, the organization itself quietly made its stance known. Leaks to reporters revealed that the Browns' leadership had been frustrated by Ryan's comments, viewing them as unnecessary noise that distracted from the team's progress. For them, it wasn't about Shedeur versus anyone else. It was about maintaining professionalism and protecting their locker room culture. By the time the week ended, the narrative had flipped. Instead of being the young player criticized on national TV, Shedeur Sanders had become a symbol of composure under fire, and Stefanski's calm defense of his quarterback only strengthened that image. While Ryan's credibility wavered, the Browns' leadership came out looking stronger than ever, and Shedeur's reputation quietly soared. By the time the dust began to settle, Rex Ryan's controversy had evolved into something far bigger than one man's opinion. It became a mirror held up to the entire sports media industry. A harsh reminder of how quickly narratives can twist, how easily confidence becomes arrogance, and how powerful words can be when millions are listening. The NFL, long obsessed with image control and public perception, had just watched one of its most recognizable voices ignite a debate that stretched beyond football. Across talk shows and podcasts, analysts began asking hard questions. Has sports commentary become too reactionary? Do networks reward outrage more than insight? And more importantly, who pays the price when the line between criticism and character assassination disappears? Rex Ryan had spent years building a persona as the brutally honest coach who tells it like it is. But in today's digital age, that brand of unchecked honesty no longer plays the same way. Every statement lives forever online, dissected, clipped, and judged within seconds. Even fans started to shift their perspective. What once seemed like bold, entertaining commentary now looked careless. Viewers began gravitating toward analysts who provided balance instead of hostility. They didn't want cheap drama. They wanted context, respect, and truth. Ryan's misstep exposed an uncomfortable reality. Many sports shows thrive on controversy, but the fallout lands hardest on the players who can't always respond. For the NFL itself, This was a wake-up call. The league had been investing heavily in promoting a new generation of quarterbacks, young, diverse, dynamic. Watching a veteran commentator undermine that effort so publicly risked undoing years of progress. So behind closed doors, the message became clear. Adapt to the modern audience or be replaced by it. In the end, Rex Ryan's ordeal served as a cautionary tale. Not just for him, but for anyone with a microphone. In a world where every take can spark a firestorm, power comes with responsibility. And in the high-stakes arena of NFL media, one careless sentence isn't just a bad look, it's a career-defining mistake. After weeks of scrutiny, Rex Ryan finally began to rebuild the image he'd nearly destroyed. The transformation wasn't instant, but it was visible. He started appearing on shows with a noticeably humbler tone, choosing his words carefully, almost cautiously. The loud, brash coach who once spoke with zero filter now paused before every sentence. A man painfully aware of how thin the ice beneath him had become. In one of his most talked about appearances, Ryan spoke directly about growth. "Look," he said, "I've been in locker rooms my whole life. I know when a kid's got it, and Shedeur's got it. I just want to see him succeed." That line, delivered with sincerity, caught the audience's attention. For the first time in weeks, people weren't mocking him, they were listening. Some fans even began to soften. "At least he owned up," one comment read. "That's more than most analysts ever do." Meanwhile, Shedeur Sanders continued doing exactly what had earned him respect in the first place, working quietly, letting his progress speak louder than any argument. Reports from Browns practices painted him as sharper, more composed, and more focused than ever. Some insiders even claimed his poise under the spotlight was winning over doubters across the league. Ironically, the controversy that was meant to break him had done the opposite. It had turned him into a symbol of maturity and perseverance. Rex Ryan noticed that too. Over time, his on-air commentary shifted again, this time naturally. He spoke of accountability, patience, and respect for young players. It wasn't about saving face anymore. It was about learning, and audiences could sense that difference. The same viewers who once tuned in to watch his downfall now stayed to watch his redemption. No longer the villain of the story, Ryan began to reclaim something he'd lost: credibility. His critics still remembered the misstep, but they couldn't deny that he had changed. In the unpredictable theater of sports media, few comebacks are as public as a fall. And Rex Ryan's journey from outrage to reflection proved that even in the NFL spotlight, redemption is possible if you're willing to earn it. In the end, Rex Ryan's saga wasn't just about one bad take or a temporary backlash. It was about the shifting power of accountability in modern sports media. The same qualities that great players have always possessed. His quiet discipline made Ryan's loud words look smaller. And in that contrast, the real story revealed itself. Professionalism outlasts noise. Rex Ryan's eventual apology and redemption, however rehearsed it may have started, became an important lesson for everyone watching. That growth sometimes comes from humiliation. He went from arrogance to awareness, from dismissing a player to defending him. Whether that transformation was genuine or strategic almost doesn't matter anymore. What matters is that millions saw what accountability looks like in real time. Because in today's NFL, it's not just players being scouted, it's voices too. Commentators, reporters, and influencers now face the same scrutiny they once directed at others. Every word has weight. And in Rex Ryan's case, one careless sentence reshaped his entire career. So the next time someone speaks too quickly, too harshly, or too confidently, maybe they'll remember this moment. The day a former coach learned that in the modern NFL, words can win games or end them.